Hey everyone, what is going on? This is Left Jab. I am back. Took a little break, life got busy, but with the 1052 hype and everything that's been going on in Wano so far, I just wanted to come back, and it's not really an analysis video, but I just kind of wanted to unpack and break down certain things that happened in this chapter, just because I really feel like there are a ton of things that could happen through this and from this, and then things that are left unsaid that we can kind of go over. But first, if you haven't subscribed, please hit the subscribe button, like the video, whatever you want to do. So yeah, let's get into it. So first off, we have the cover page where the Vinsmokes are coming in contact with Caesar Clown, and I really think this is actually pretty interesting because obviously we know the Vinsmokes, Judge in particular, is a scientist. We know that Caesar Clown is a scientist. We know that Mads used to exist, and later on I'll be talking about Queen. But with all of that, all these scientists out there that we've been introduced to lately, I think that there's going to be a big role that they will have to play. So this is very interesting, where Caesar Clown is now coming in contact with the children of a scientist. Maybe they'll team up and get Mads going again and get a bunch of scientists together. But yeah, I guess we're going to have to wait and see on that. The next thing I wanted to talk about is Kaido and Big Mom. They're obviously out of the picture right now. Later in the chapter, we see that there's a 7-day time skip. So where are they? Are they still underground? Did they die together? Or did they harden in the rock, and sometime in the future they'll come back and be able to fight in the end war? I really don't know what's going on with them, but spanning from them and breaking apart from them, you have Kaido's crew and the Big Mom Pirates. We don't know where the Beast Pirates are. We don't know where the Big Mom Pirates are. Last we saw the Big Mom Pirates, they're falling off another waterfall. Well, it was actually the same waterfall, just a different person pushed them off. So I'm not entirely sure what happened to the Big Mom Pirates and what's to come of them. They could have gone back to Whole Cake Island. I'm not entirely sure. We're just going to have to see where those remaining Big Mom Pirates are. Also with Kaido and his crew, where is King? King is, I think, going to be very important for the future. Is he going to be recruited by, Kid or Law or something? Or are they imprisoned? Like, where are these fallen Beast Pirates and the Tobiropo? Like, where are they? Because also we have Queen, who, again, like I said, is a scientist. He could probably escape, get away, and make his way to Vegapunk or even Judge or, someone, and all that science stuff will culminate together, and there'll be a huge arc on science. I really think that's going to come in the future. So spanning the 7 days after the war, we still have a couple things that are left up in the air, like what happened to Boa? What happened to Sabo, Vivi? Did Blackbeard go and achieve what he needed to achieve? We don't know where they are or what they're doing. So the other thing that happened in this chapter is Zunisha is gone now. I think Zunisha obviously is going to be the being to bring down the borders of Wano. Momo is going to command it to somehow bring Wano into the sea, I believe. But Zunisha is now gone, so I'm really curious where Zunisha's going, if Zunisha's going to come back at the end war and be able to help fight with the Straw Hats. Also a possibility, Zunisha may have carried off the other minks, and Inuarashi, we haven't seen him in this chapter, so he may have gone and wanted to be the leader of the minks on Zunisha while Zunisha left, and then maybe that's why Nekomamushi stayed back, so he can be the leader of the minks that are back with everyone in Wano, and kind of command the minks and stay with the minks who are left back at Wano and didn't go on Zunisha. Now, there is still the fact that Nico Robin is going to be captured or attempted to be captured. I think this could be very interesting because we don't know how strong some of these guys are who are coming after her. And we've obviously seen that Zoro and Luffy are just trying to regain their strength. So you still have Sanji, you still have Yamato, a lot of very strong people. Denjiro, just depends who's going to come after them and where and when. But that whole plot line is still up in the air wherever Robin is. We didn't see her this chapter, but my guess is she's probably trying to read a poneglyph or something like that. There's nothing too crazy interesting when it comes to Drake and Hawkins. I think if Hawkins died, then that's not crazy interesting. It's crazy to the story. There's nothing really to speculate and unpack there. I think that it's just a crazy thing that happened in the story where one of the characters died. But we're not entirely sure. We couldn't really tell. But I really think that Drake is going to live and somehow get away with S.W.O.R.D. I think some members of S.W.O.R.D. will probably help him, or some Marines or something like that. But I think Drake will be fine. We'll have to see on Hawkins, but there's nothing too crazy to unpack there. But the only thing that I did kind of find interesting about what Hawkins was talking about is he had some admiration, it seems, for Kid. And it kind of seemed like he looked up to Kid in a way for standing up to Kaido and fight, even though him and Apu did not fight. Kid and his crew still went and fought Kaido, knowing that they probably wouldn't survive. But I think Hawkins kind of had an admiration for Kid and looked up to him in a way. So if he did live, I could see Hawkins maybe wanting to team up with Kid in the future and actually wanting to have an alliance with Kid and maybe even be under Kid. So the next thing I thought was really interesting is when Kinemon and Kawamatsu are sitting at the shrine saying that they're going to build a huge shrine to Odin and everyone who died to help him, like Ashura and Izo, and that's where we find out that they're actually dead. But what I think is really interesting is there's a moment with Marco where he talks about surviving again. Because remember, he fought in the Summit War, he fought in the Payback War, now he's fought in this war. He's lost very good friends of his, which I really am curious to who lived and died in the Payback War. We still don't know what Whitebeard pirates are still alive and who died in that war. So I'm very curious because obviously everyone loves Vista, everyone likes Jozu. I think those are some that we really want to see what happened to them and if they survived that or not. But with Marco talking about surviving all these wars, I think he needs to find himself a home. I think he wants to figure out what he's going to do. Because Ace was a part of their crew, and Luffy is Ace's brother, and he had a lot of respect and admiration for Luffy, I think he could end up following the Straw Hat Pirates at this point. Maybe he won't join their crew necessarily, but I can really see him joining the Grand Fleet and having the rest of the Whitebeard Pirates be there to back up Luffy during this huge war that's about to come up. I think that would be awesome because the Whitebeard Pirates have nothing to do right now. They don't have anywhere to go, especially Marco. And I know Marco's story isn't just going to end here. I know he has a part to play in the final war, and I really think it's going to be a part of the Grand Fleet. So Zoro and Luffy waking up, there are a couple things that I really like to know what's going on. With Zoro, he mentions that he came back from hell so he could kill Sanji because that's what he requested him to do. So I'm really curious about that because we did see the Grim Reaper in front of him, and I don't know what that means because he even says he went to hell and died technically, I guess. So we're going to have to see what's going on with that, and it could be a red herring for whatever's in the future. And I never thought about this before, but what if Zoro actually does die at the end of the story? What if he is the Straw Hat that will die? We don't know, but that was actually pretty interesting. We still need to figure out what the Grim Reaper was doing there and what the situation with that was. And with Luffy, I really want him to talk to Yamato, and Yamato ask if she's allowed to join the crew. I'm not entirely sure what's going to happen with that situation, but what happens in the bath scene honestly kind of gives me an idea of who else will be joining. You go to the panel with the women in the women's bath. You have Shinobu, who obviously is going to stay in Wano. You have Kiku, going to stay in Wano. Hiyori, going to stay in Wano. And the two little girls, I actually think they could be cabin girls on the Straw Hat crew, but I'm not entirely sure with that. You also see Speed in the back. I don't know what's really going to happen with Speed. You also see Speed in the back, but the one I'm curious about the most is Carrot's in the back. She's the only mink that's there, so I really think that she could actually be joining the crew too. Because if you remember, Oda did mention that one after another, Straw Hats will be joining the crew. So I really think that Carrot could possibly join with Yamato as well. Now there's two things left that I want to discuss, and that's the whole newspaper situation. I think one thing that we really need to unpack and understand and realize is that the information got leaked because of Apu. Apu mentions, oh, how did they get this information? And Kid says, it was obviously you. So what that tells me is Apu leaked some information, that doesn't mean that all the information he leaked was factual and true. So possibly Law could be left out of that, and I have a theory on why. I think Kid is going to be Luffy's rival going into the final saga. And I think what's happening is Apu realizes how strong Kid is, so he may have given him a lot of clout and told the newspapers that Kid took out Big Mom, so he probably could get a big bump in his bounty. But I think it would be really kind of funny if Apu leaked some information saying him and Kid took down Big Mom together, so Apu is the other emperor, because Luffy's already the 5th emperor, so there's still 2 spots to fill. I think that's how it'll work, but I think it would be really funny if Apu left Law out, so him and Kid were the 2 to replace the Yonkos. I really think it's not what we're expecting, and that could be it. Last thing is we see Green Bull flying into Wano. He's already there. He's talking to Sakazuki, telling him that he's arriving. A lot of people have speculated that he could be from Wano. I don't know if he's necessarily from Wano. He does have that time where he talks about, spending 2 years not eating. If you remember, that's our introduction to Momo. Momo kind of talks about the samurai and how they don't need to give into that temptation to eat. So what could happen is Green Bull can straight up be from Wano. I'm not entirely sure if he is. He could be a samurai or just someone who was just an average person there and gained devil fruit ability and was able to be strong enough to be an admiral. Or he could just be a Wano enthusiast and maybe gave up his hunger for that reason. We don't really know. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But that is it. That is everything that I wanted to unpack and discuss in this video. I will probably make a video next week for chapter 1053 because I think there will be just as much to unpack. So I'm really excited for that. Thank you all for watching the video. Again, please like and subscribe if you made it this far, and I'll see you again in the next one. See ya.